Sat Sri Akal, mera naam Manreet.
Ali, I'm Zach.
And this is Livewire, the Getchell podcast. Today we're going to be focusing up on AAPI culture and talking about each other's cultures, talking about experiences we've been through while growing up, and what we love about each other's cultures.
Yep.
So Zach, I want you to tell me your favorite key points when it comes to your culture and the environment you've grown up around.
So, just to throw it out there, I'm half Palau and half white. So I kind of get like 50% of it from my mom, kind of just the view of it. But what I think I find really cool about my culture is kind of just the family aspect of it. It's kind of similar to a lot of other cultures where it's like you can go a long time without seeing your family or not even knowing that family, but it feels like you're just instantly connected. Like there's no weird tension or awkwardness to it.
Yeah, I can fully agree with that too. And I am 100% Indian Punjabi. And we also always like have our families back, you know, if we haven't seen each other in a while, we're always connected. We can argue as much as like we want, but you know, still family at the end of the day, you know?
Exactly.
Another couple things that I wanted to add on that I really just wouldn't trade about my culture is like the dancing, the music, the great food. I can't lie.
The food, yeah,
the food, guys.
It's always the food.
Food is always so good. Anyways, but I feel like the dancing especially has honestly like sparked such a part of me that's like never gonna go out almost.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I feel like that's a really big reason that I'm shaped like I am today.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any like dances or music that like holds a special place in your heart?
So like a dance that a lot of the Palauans do at like the get-togethers is called like cha-cha, where it's like they just kind of like move back and forth. It's good. It's just like a simple dance move that everyone can do to like the beat of the music.
Yeah.
But yeah, dancing is really cool because dancing really like unifies a lot of people. Like it brings a lot of people together with the music and dancing.
And that ties into the whole family thing too. You know, always just coming together. Yeah. All right. So growing up, especially because you mentioned you had the like 50% experience, right?
Yeah.
What experiences, like good or bad, like did you go through as a kid, or any struggles you faced with like feeling like you weren't represented or anything? Like, is there anything that you can recall?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of people like would think I'm not Islander. A lot of people would kind of assume that I'm a different race, or like they'll come up to me speaking Spanish, or some people will come up speaking, like one time a person came up to me speaking Egyptian, and I was like, oh, I'm not, that's not me. But another
guys.
thing was my dad being white, when it would just be me and him going out together and stuff like that, like people wouldn't think that we're like related.
Mm-hmm.
People would just like think we're like work buddies or something.
Right.
Or like I'm adopted.
Right.
You know? So that's kind of like issues I kind of faced with. And a lot of people are like always coming up to me, oh, you're white? I'm just like, yeah. Like, but yeah, that's kind of just it.
Do you think it's like gotten better over the years? Like,
a lot of people
not?
see more resemblance with me and my dad, but
yeah. But it's still like people come up assuming like you're something else or you're not, you know?
Yeah. But since I'm a lot older now, like when I'm with my dad, it just looks like we're friends. Not really related at all.
Right. Yeah. For me personally, like obviously I'm 100% Punjabi, so I obviously don't see that side.
Yeah.
However, like I have also, like people have come up to me like speaking Spanish or something. I'm like, I'm flattered, but I'm not that.
Exactly.
I fear. But like another thing is always being like the token brown kid in the class,
yep.
right?
That's
They're
so
like
true.
talking about some random Indian history, and everyone's neck is craning to the back,
exactly.
and I'm like, guys, not everything is my people. It's like that, or people just assuming like you're not Asian. Like Asian Pacific Islander month comes up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my month. They're like, you're not Asian. I'm like, let's look on a map. Let's look at what continent India is on. Thanks. And it's like those things. Like, how are you gonna invalidate like who I am, like to me? Like that makes no sense to me. Like, educate yourself, guys. Please, I beg, educate yourself before you come up to us and try to tell us we're something we're not. Thanks. Yeah.
Like I relate that. I relate to that too, because like being Islander, what a lot of normal people like what a lot of people normally see.
Yeah.
Is like Hawaii, like
right?
Samoa. Those are like
the go-tos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, Zach, why aren't you doing like? Do you do the haka? The haka is like Maori, like that's like New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Like, or like when I say islander, a lot of people just assume I'm like Hawaiian. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, can you speak Hawaiian? It's just like, yeah, I mean that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's that just whole like just grouping people into one group, because like islanders are very diverse. India is so diverse. Yeah. Like it's better if you just ask us like, so like what's your background, rather than just being like, oh, like speak that language. Like I don't know that language. That's not my language, guys. Like what do you mean? But I definitely understand. Yeah. So do you think like, especially through like AAPI club and assemblies and whatnot, though, like you feel more represented and more like seen, like not just you but like your culture, and I don't know, like what's your thoughts on like how the club has try to include everybody?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think a lot of the I think the club for sure makes it like more apparent of like where you're from, especially like because again, how I mentioned earlier that a lot of people think I was Hispanic. We had our Islander assembly like beginning of this month, and a lot of people didn't know I was Islander. Yeah. Until that assembly, like where I was dancing. Drop. Yeah, everyone was like, "You're Islander?" I'm just like, "Yeah, bro."
Like, where you been? Like.
So I think like clubs like that for sure make it better for people and make it like let their culture get more out there,
Yeah, definitely.
If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like I know me personally, I was always scared of like, putting my culture out there, because it doesn't align with the Western culture at all. It's so different. So I'd be like, oh my gosh, my food is weird. It smells weird. Yeah, bro. Dude, oh my gosh, like the trauma from the food smell. Oh my gosh, but it tastes so divine. And then like the dances, it's like, oh my gosh, people are gonna think I'm hopping like an idiot. Like, yeah. But the dances have meaning to them too. And now like through like the club and like all these people being willing to learn about each other's culture and share their culture has made it so much easier to talk about your own culture. And like, not everybody can say like being a part of like the first ever AAPI assembly or the first couple of AAPI assemblies in Getchell history. That's crazy. Yeah. Like you did like the dance this year and I did the dance both years, and it's just a type of legacy that we're leaving. And I truly do think that even though we have left the standard high, it's gonna be met easily, right? And like so many people coming up after the assembly being like, yo, like that assembly was like low-key the best, and I was like, what can I say? What can I say? And
I also think it's a good example of showing like you don't need to be like ashamed or like scared to like put your culture out there. Kind of just like
the brown never let you down.
Real.
But I don't know if like obviously you are half white, and so I don't know if you like fully faced this. For me personally, I always had the internal battle of like, am I cultured enough? Am I Western enough? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I kind of have to think about that. Like, obviously being half white, it kind of made me like think I'm not like Islander enough. Right. You know what I mean? Like going over to like family barbecues and stuff. Everyone's speaking the language but me, because I wasn't really like kind of brought up speaking the language or kind of like with that culture. But I mean, like, obviously my mom showed some culture to it, like a lot of the things, but I didn't really get the full grasp of it. Yeah. So it was just.
I also can agree with that. Like, because being born and raised here and just growing up in this environment, it's like, obviously you grow up with that fear of like, oh my gosh, my culture, like, it's so different. Like, I don't want to share it. And then you're like, wait, I'm losing it. Like, now what, And then I feel like a part of growing up and being confident in your culture is finding that balance of, I was brought up here. This is the environment I grew up in, and I'm going to embrace that and embrace the Western culture, but keep a balance like with your own culture, And that's the only way like to pass it down to like generations and whatnot too. But I feel like my experience was mostly like an internal thing rather than like external, you know? But with that being said, so like to circle back, like I know you talked about family and all that and how that's a key point in your culture, but when it comes to like embracing your culture, like what do you do? Like I know this year, like I feel like you've also like kind of gone through like a journey of like embracing your culture more, and this year especially it's like peak the assembly and whatnot. So like things like the assembly, like if you haven't like fully embraced your culture like how you want to, are there any ways you've thought of like how you're gonna, you know, live with it more or
live with it more? I feel like because recently I've been going to like a lot of, like I went to a luau like a few, was that a month ago? Like a few weeks ago? Something like that. But I'm going to more like Islander events. Like I'm going to more like get-togethers. Like after graduation, I'm going to a get-together. But like me a year ago or like a few years ago, I would never.
Right.
I would never go to it because I just feel like I wouldn't be like culturally in tune. I wouldn't like be up to them. I'll be like the whitewashed, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be like with them. I'll stand out.
You'd be like the like bystander almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stand out, but like now that like through AAPI club, through all this, it's kind of cool how I can just embrace it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I can go and like go to these things on like, oh, I'm Islander, you know?
Yeah.
Like these are my kind of people.
Shameless plug, join AAPISU, really cool club as you can see. You don't even have to be part of AAPI. If you just want to learn about new cultures, please join us. But I can definitely agree with that. And I'm really glad that you're starting to reconnect with your culture more.
Real.
I would say for me, I've been connected with my culture for a while now, but the best ways I do it is just going to events or like going to like weddings, because weddings are always just so vibrant, you know, the food top tier,
always the food.
Sorry, we're big backside here. The dancing, like everyone's joy, everyone just getting together, that's such a way to like ignite the culture almost. And just always like keep an eye out for like new events, or me personally, I like teaching younger kids like our language, because I'm fluent enough, I can read, write, and speak. Thank you, bilingual. But it's just those little things almost, and it's like the more you get comfortable in your culture, it's so nice helping other people get comfortable in it, you know? Yeah. I fear that is the final episode of Livewire for this school year. I know, very sad. It's been OG Livewire. Thank you all for tuning in. OG.
Thank you for bringing me on.
OG Livewire. Honorary OG Livewire.
Honorary.
Yeah. The standards have been set very high for the next class. You guys need to meet them. I won't be surprised if you don't. But yeah, class 2025, the best. We out. Thank you for listening.
We out.